These are the jaw-dropping, blockbuster NFL trades that almost didn't happen, but changed the league forever. From legendary quarterback swaps to dynasty-defying deals, here are 10 trades that shook the football world. At number 1, we have a trade that shook the NFL. Deshaun Watson, frustrated with the Houston Texans' dysfunction, forced his way out. And in 2022, the Cleveland Browns made it happen with a blockbuster deal. The Texans received 5 draft picks, including 3 first-rounders, while the Browns handed Watson a record-breaking $230 million fully guaranteed contract. A gamble unlike anything the league had seen. But what the fuck happened next? Watson missed most of 2022 due to an 11-game suspension and struggled in his 6 games he did play. While this season shows flashes of improvement, he's played just 3 games due to a shoulder injury. For the Texans, the trade offers hope with a treasure trove of draft picks. For the Browns, the question looms: is Watson the savior they bet their future on, or the gamble that could break them? Now let's shift gears to number 2, one of the most shocking NFL trades ever. In 2004, the Washington Redskins made a bold move, trading future Hall of Fame cornerback Champ Bailey to the Broncos for Pro Bowl running back Clinton Portis. But was it the right call? Back then, running backs like Portis were seen as irreplaceable, especially after his monster 2003 season, where he rushed for 1,591 yards, 14 touchdowns, and averaged 5.5 yards per carry. Meanwhile, Bailey was establishing himself as one of the league's best defensive players. But fast forward, and the trade turned lopsided. Portis struggled, averaging just 3.8 yards per carry in his first year with the Redskins, and only making 1 Pro Bowl in 7 seasons. On the other hand, Bailey became an anchor in Denver, earning 8 Pro Bowls and first-team All-Pro honors. His 10 interceptions in 2006 highlighted a dominant career. Could you imagine trading a top cornerback for a running back today? This deal shows how drastically the value of the positions has shifted over the years. For number 3, let's talk about a trade that changed NFL history. Arguably the greatest wide receiver of all time, Randy Moss, was traded twice in his career. First from the Minnesota Vikings to the Oakland Raiders, then from the Raiders to the New England Patriots. But it's the second trade that stole the spotlight. After a disappointing stint with the Raiders, Moss was traded to the Patriots in 2007. What followed was legendary. 23 touchdown catches in a single season, setting a record, while Tom Brady threw 50 touchdowns. Together, they led the Patriots to an undefeated regular season, though their Super Bowl dreams were crushed by Eli Manning and the Giants. Moss's time in New England was unforgettable, making 1 Pro Bowl, earning first-team All-Pro honors, and leading the league in receiving touchdowns twice. This trade not only reshaped the Patriots' offense, but left a lasting mark on NFL history. Would Moss have reached these heights without that trade? Oh my God! Moss's impact on the Patriots' offense is undeniable, changing the way defenses had to approach New England for years. Moving on to number 4, we have a trade that could haunt the Broncos for years. In March 2022, the Denver Broncos made what they hoped would be a franchise-changing move, trading 5 draft picks and 3 players to the Seattle Seahawks for Russell Wilson. On top of that, they handed the 9-time Pro Bowler a $245 million contract extension. So what went wrong? Wilson's first season with the Broncos was a disaster, posting the worst numbers of his career. While he has shown some improvement in 2023, the team as a whole remains a mess. The Broncos actually cut Wilson this offseason. What was supposed to be a game-changing move has instead become one of the most regrettable trades in NFL history, leaving the Broncos with a massive financial burden and a questionable future. How did they get there, and can they recover? At number 5, let's dive into a trade that sparked a legendary offense. In 1999, the Indianapolis Colts traded Marshall Faulk, a three-time Pro Bowler, to the St. Louis Rams for a couple of draft picks. But how did this trade impact both teams? Faulk was solid in Indy, but it wasn't until he joined the Rams that he truly became a superstar. In St. Louis, he earned 3 consecutive first-team All-Pro selections and posted over 2,000 yards from scrimmage in each of his first 3 seasons. The Rams' offense became legendary, earning the nickname the greatest show on turf and dominating the 99-2000 Super Bowl. Faulk's incredible efficiency, averaging over 5 yards per carry, was short-lived. That's crazy. By his 4th season, his performance started to decline. So while the trade worked wonders for the Rams in the short term, did the Colts make a mistake by letting him go? Would they have benefited from keeping Faulk? Next, at number 6, we have a trade that shaped 2 NFL legends. In 2004, the San Diego Chargers selected Eli Manning with the first overall pick. But it was clear from the start the Manning family wanted him in New York. After a brief, tense moment, the Chargers traded Manning to the New York Giants for Phillip Rivers, the 4th overall pick, and 3 other draft picks, including a first-rounder used to select linebacker Shawn Merriman. At the time, many thought the Giants had overpaid, but the results spoke for themselves. Manning led the Giants to 2 Super Bowl victories, winning the Super Bowl MVP both times, while Rivers, despite being a skilled passer, never made it to a Super Bowl. Was the trade worth it for the Giants? Absolutely. Manning's leadership and intangibles turned him into one of the greatest quarterbacks in New York's history. Meanwhile, Rivers, despite his impressive career, fell short in many ways Manning never did. Could the Chargers have been better off keeping Manning? Or did Rivers' skill set justify the trade? Moving on to number 7, we have a trade that shook the NFL in 1987. Eric Dickerson, one of the greatest running backs ever, was traded to the Indianapolis Colts in a massive 3-team deal midway through the 1987 season. The trade, sparked by a contract dispute with the Los Angeles Rams, involved 10 players, making it the 5th largest trade in NFL history. Dickerson had already made his mark with the Rams, earning 3 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pro selections, and leading the league in rushing yards 3 times in his first 4 seasons. He continued his dominance in Indianapolis, earning 3 more Pro Bowls and 2 first-team All-Pro honors in his first 2.5 seasons there, including leading the NFL in rushing yards in 1988. Oh my God! Could you imagine a trade like that happening today? It's hard to fathom how much that one deal altered the future of both franchises. For number 8, we have a trade that changed the course of NFL history. In 1983, the Baltimore Colts had the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft and selected a promising young quarterback, John Elway. But Elway, unwilling to play for the Colts, refused to comply, setting the stage for a trade to the Denver Broncos. The Colts sent Elway to Denver in exchange for offensive lineman Chris Hinton, quarterback Mark Herman, and a first-round pick. Fast forward, and Elway became an NFL legend in Denver. With 9 Pro Bowls, an MVP award, and 2 Super Bowl victories under his belt, Elway cemented his status as the greatest Bronco of all time. But what the fuck? Elway's career passer rating of 79.9, 56.9% completion rate, and near equal number of interceptions, 226, to touchdowns, 300, leave his lifetime stats more questionable than expected. So did the Colts get fleeced, or was it a fair trade for both sides? At number 9, we move on to another trade that reshaped the league's history. Brett Favre didn't start his legendary career with the Green Bay Packers. He was originally drafted by the Atlanta Falcons in the second round of the 1991 NFL Draft. But after throwing just 4 passes, 2 of those interceptions, in his rookie season, the Falcons decided to trade him to the Packers for a first-round pick. In hindsight, it's safe to say Atlanta gave up on Favre too soon. Favre spent the next 16 years in Green Bay, earning 9 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pro selections, and leading the Packers to a Super Bowl victory. But here's the kicker. Favre also won the MVP 3 years in a row, from 1995 to 1997, leading the league in passing touchdowns all 3 seasons. So what went wrong for Atlanta? Did they miss out on one of the NFL's greatest quarterbacks? Finally, at number 10, we have the biggest blockbuster trade in NFL history. The Herschel Walker trade is not only the biggest, but also the most complex trade in NFL history. In a mind-blowing mid-season 18-player deal, the Dallas Cowboys sent Walker and 4 draft picks to the Minnesota Vikings in exchange for linebackers Jesse Solomon and David Howard, cornerback Isaac Holt, defensive end Alex Stewart, and 8 draft picks, including 3 first-rounders. And if that wasn't enough, running back Darren Nelson was also traded to the San Diego Chargers. This massive trade set the foundation for the Cowboys' Super Bowl dynasty in the 90s. But what happened to Herschel Walker? Walker, a 2-time Pro Bowler with the Cowboys, disappointed in Minnesota, failing to rush for a single 1,000-yard season. What the Vikings thought would push them to greatness ended up helping the Cowboys build a dynasty instead. Could Minnesota have made a better move? Or did this trade ultimately shape the NFL as we know it? The NFL is full of surprises, and we're just getting started. Hit play on the next video for more epic moments and unforgettable stories.